It is much more sinister, though. I find like this sort of woke talk sanitises it a bit, as if there's something sort of a bit light-hearted and silly about it. This is a sinister attack, and it only targets women. It only erases female language. It's all the true colours are coming out now, and for strong women to be desexed, to be said that they're not female because they're successful and strong and brave. Their struggle, these historical characters, Elizabeth and Joan of Arc, their struggle entirely almost was sex-based. It is intrinsic to the story. It would be like me saying to a production on Martin Luther King or Nelson Mandela, me as a white woman, to like explore my journey. I'm going to play Martin Luther King and his fight for civil justice. This is how it is so it belittles everything.
We're going to reimagine Mandela and Luther King as white men.
Can you imagine? And do you know what? You know what all the woke, the liberal, leftist little fascists will do? Do you know what they'll do? If I suggested that I could play a black person, they'd call me a filthy white supremacist racist for doing that. And yet they can erase women, they can destroy our language, our historical part. We only have a few women that were able to get through the net in history, and they want to take them away from us as well.
Sam, you were shaking your head during that. Why?
Well, I studied Shakespeare at university. I'm sure not everybody on this panel has. And
no, we're stupid. That's why. Because we didn't study Shakespeare.
But we didn't do it through the Jack.
Perhaps you are, Carol. What I'm saying is that
Not being ironic, Sam.
Yes, I know, dear. Basically, Hamlet's been played by a woman. King Lear has been played by a woman. Of course he have. And like, and this,
but this isn't about someone playing a woman.
This is about.
Deleting the agenda.
This is about art. This is about art, especially with the Joan of Arc. It's like at the end of the day, humanity and like the non-binary people have been around like since
I don't even know what that means. How can you not be male and female?
It means that you don't
That's
necessarily
so
identify between or for either.
But you have to have sexist stereotypes to say that.
And if you look at the history of Elizabeth I, for example, you know, she was the Virgin Queen. Everybody talked about, etc. You know, and there were quotes about, you know, her saying, you know, that she's the king, etc.
No, she didn't say she was the king. So the heart and stomach of a king and a king of England.
The point is that gender fluidity has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years.
You know that.
It's just we have names for it now and beef about it now.
No, because they don't pretend they're actually women. Men have been dressed in frills and high heels forever, and they didn't say they were actually women.
But also history in general is there to be interpreted.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
You can't change it, but you can interpret it as much as you like.
So you know about Shakespeare. What do you know about Joan of Arc? I'll tell you what I know about Joan of Arc. The whole point of her is that she was a woman in a man's world. Her achievements were all the more extraordinary because she was a woman, because she existed at a time when women had no choices, no rights, no freedoms. And the whole point about her was that she was a woman. So, and this was a 17-year-old peasant girl who actually fought and defeated the British at Orleans. So please don't say this is a matter of interpretation. This is what happened. This is the truth of it. She was not a bloke. She was a woman.
No,
sex was, in the time that she lived in the 15th century, her sex was the defining characteristic of her.
No,
because she did these things.
No one's saying she wasn't a woman. She's being portrayed as a non-binary person in a play.
Can I tell you what
in a play. Of course.
Can I tell you what Julie Bindel says? Julie Bindel, who I adore, she says, you know how Joan of Arc was killed? She was killed as a heretic because she dressed in men's clothes. She says, when a woman is killed because she breaks the rules about how women should dress and act as decided by men, that makes her a feminist martyr, not a they or them. And that's exactly right.
But these are suggestions. I'm not saying it's
rewriting history.
You don't know, and I don't know either.
I do know.
I wasn't there. You might have been there, Carol, but I wasn't there. But
you said these people existed for centuries. How do you know?
Yes, non-binary people have existed.
No, you weren't there.
They have, I know, but they have people of you know, intersex. You look at Indian heritage, for example. They've had trans people, intersex people for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years.
Sam, you're missing the point.
You are.
No one cares for hundreds of thousands of years. Men have been dressing in frills and women have been dressing in breeches. That's completely normal. The difference is none of them said, I'm the opposite sex or I'm desexed and you have have to believe it or you're a bigot. This is what's happening now.
But this is art. This is the play.
No, but it's historical.
This is rewriting history.
No, but also,
and it's
but also, people
God.
say, like, Shakespeare didn't write all of those sonnets. So people go back and they look at history.
They're saying
with a different
Joan
lens.
of Arc
They are looking at history with a different lens, and everyone's allowed to do that.
Maybe Joan of Arc wasn't actually a woman. They can't possibly know that.
This is trans extremism, isn't it, from this... I mean, by the way, do you know what a transgender awareness trainer is, Sam?
Well, I can imagine what it is.
Dr. Kit Hayham. I mean, this is revisionism.
Yes.
Trying to portray Elizabeth I
No, it's suggesting, it's giving another opinion.
It's de-sexing a woman again. Because you're all obsessed with raising the female.
You've all gone on about this today, about freedom of speech, and now you're attacking somebody for having freedom of speech.
This is not
freedom of speech.
Of course, so they're not allowed to this.
It's what he says, it's revisionism.
So this person can't say what they want to say.
Yeah, they can,
but anyone else can say what they want to say.
It's simply not true.
Oh, okay, all right.
Is it okay if I play Martin Luther King?
Hypocrisy!
Is it okay? Answer the question.
No, of course it isn't.
Can I play a black man who struggles about black rights?
Because what you...
Well, then you're a hypocrite.
Because what you and we deal with is white privilege. And white privilege is a different thing altogether.
You have lost that argument
at all.
Why is it not okay for her to play Martin Luther King?
Do you really need to explain?
Yeah, why?
I really do.
Please, quickly, because it's really fundamental to your argument.
Because obviously Martin Luther King's race was intrinsic to the whole story.
So, but Joan of Arc's sex and Elizabeth
was completely intrinsic to the whole story. So you've just answered your own question.
I'm not saying she's not a woman. I'm saying they're portraying her as a non-binary person, which doesn't mean that she's male or female. She's in between.
And by the way, absolutely, these ridiculous faux historians are allowed as much as they want to put out their ludicrous scenarios into the world.
Free speech.
What I am offended about, though, Sam, is that this is the Guardian of Shakespeare. This is Shakespeare's globe. And they don't give a damn anymore about Shakespeare's legacy. Do you know what they care about? Being woke. Yeah. And that's it. I say shame on them. No. It's the same as the organisation that was meant to protect Winston Churchill, and they now deride him as a racist.
What they want to do
is the woke takeover of our institutions in this country.
Let's hope no one goes to see it. Let's hope.
Don't buy the ticket.
I guarantee you it'll be jam-packed every night.
Unfortunately, Carol, they have had the best publicity.